Now to the stunning news from Capitol Hill today. Kevin McCarthy, the Republican Majority Leader in the House of Representatives, all of a sudden announcing he no longer wants to run to become Speaker of the House of Representatives, succeeding John Boehner. Let's bring in former Republican Congressman Mike Rogers of Michigan. He's a CNN national security commentator. I assume, Mike, you were as stunned as all of us.
I was. I mean, this is that Houston, we have a problem moment. And so I think Republicans have a short period of time here to get their act together, or they're going to have some permanent brand damage going into the election year next year. I think it's possible. Parties are coalitions. Both the Republicans and Democrats have coalitions that sometimes don't line up, but they're closer to each party that would identify with that party. Remember, Kevin McCarthy had the majority of votes in conference itself, in the Republican conference itself. Where that magic 218 number counts is when it goes to the full floor of the House. If you don't hit that 218 number, it causes a problem. You'd have to go to Democrats in order to elect a speaker, and certainly they weren't going to cooperate in any way, shape, or form. That's where the problem came in.
Yeah, he didn't presumably didn't have those 29 Republicans he would need to get to that 218 number, the majority number on the floor of the House of Representatives. So who can bridge that serious divide within the Republican Party in the House right now? Someone who can appeal to the mainstream, the establishment Republicans, while at the same time bringing in that so-called Freedom Forum, the Tea Party activists.
Yeah, and there's some candidates that would come to mind. One great candidate in my mind would be a guy named Greg Walden, who is the head of the congressional committee that is responsible for electing the conference of Republicans into the majority. He's been doing that for a few years. He knows every member. He knows the districts. He knows their challenges. He knows their political bent. And he's a seasoned hand, which I think was missing in this leadership election. He has been around Congress a long time. He's actually been on a committee, moved complicated pieces of legislation, been a subcommittee chairman. I think you're going to see, and I'm speculating here, but I think you'll see names like Greg Walden and others who will surface as somebody that can bridge all of those gaps. At the end of the day, none of that majority means anything if you cannot govern. And what they've clearly demonstrated is right now what are normally internal family fights to the conference, and believe me, Democrats have these too, but what happened is this spilled over into the public eye, which is pretty unusual for a race of this significance.
It's very unusual, and we'll see what happens down the road. All right, Congressman, thanks very much. Mike Rogers, the former congressman from Michigan.